No, I'm just here just to talk about the education side and just the journey I went through. It was really, sorry. It's probably, whether you like it or not, like not everyone in this room, I'm sure you guys are fantastic players and you guys want to make it. Whether you like it or not, like some of you probably won't make it, and that was the reality of life when I was sort of coming into it. I remember going to training and I thought, man, if I get injured tomorrow, you know, I got no backup plan. And I was like 18, 19 at the time. And I thought, I mean, I need to go get education. And at the same time, you know, I was playing footy, and, you know, my day started, I remember I had class at 9 o'clock, I had to be up at 6 a.m. in the morning, go to uni, had class at 10 to 12, and then another class at 1 to 3. And then from there, I had to go to training at 6, didn't get home till 9. And I think that was the sacrifice that I sort of had to make in the long term. I think when I look back now, it's probably saved my life a little bit. I think you guys probably won't see it that way now, but I think when you get to sort of my age and older, and I think there's Joely Renderi's in here too, you know, he's a legend of the game, and he'll probably even say, like, you need something to fall back on. You'll probably get coaches and agents saying you need to train harder, but at the same time, you need that balance between life. And I was lucky, like Shane said, I met my wife, and my wife was also into education as well, so we sort of clicked in that term. So I think the biggest thing, it doesn't have to be education as well. I think it could be a trade or mechanic or anything like that, because I think we like it or not, I could get injured tomorrow and you guys could get injured tomorrow. And there's a lot of things too, you know, like you couldn't make it, you could get a coach that doesn't even like you and might not even pick you. And then from there, you know, a lot of confidence could go down. And at the time I was thinking, man, if I don't make it, that's okay, because I had something to fall back on. And at the time, my parents, you know, just like any other Samoan parents, always, if I didn't make a team, they were always like, you gotta train harder. And I was like, it's not about that, Dad. And at the time, it was like, oh man, you know, Samoan parents, and I was just like, flip. And I think that education side sort of took that pressure off me a little bit. I think it sort of led me down another path, and at the same time, it sort of just gave me a lot more confidence, and I led down that path. And at the same time, I got my degree, and my wife got her degree, and then everything happens for a reason, I think. So I think if there was a bigger message of leaving here tonight, I think just make sure when maybe this year or next year, if something doesn't work out, maybe education is a good path for you, or any trade, because I think you're going to need it in the end. Feel free to ask me questions if you guys want. I didn't really write anything down. I just sort of just come here and just talk about my life and sort of my journey along the way, because I've sort of met a lot of rugby players along the past that have made it, that made it and didn't make it, and at the same time, some of them had a backup, some of them didn't. And I think the ones who did make it were the ones that had that pathway. And I think you sort of had, I sort of hung out with the right sort of crowd too. That sort of helps. Some of you are just who you just left school and you don't really sort of just trying to find your way in life, and I think probably hanging around with the right crowd sort of helped that too. And going to uni, I met some good friends there, and some of them really good friends today, and sort of helped me in way in, you know, like around life and also so. Yeah, so I wish you guys all the best. Hopefully I get to hear you guys crack in the future. If not, hopefully you guys in some capacity down the education side or what so. Is there any questions or anything you guys want to ask? I could probably help out, or parents as well. No, you guys are quiet.
How old are you now?
I'm 29 now. Yeah, 29.
How old were you when you got your degree?
I got my degree at 26. So I was part-time when I was doing uni. I was traveling with the New Zealand Sevens team. I was playing for the Blues, and one of my exams was the same time as the Rugby World Cup Sevens, and that time was in Russia, and it was the same weekend. And I rang up Auckland Uni. I said, oh, I can't make this exam. And the Auckland Uni said, oh, you have to sit it or you got to fail the paper. And I said, oh man. So I worked around with the university, and I had to do my exam 2 days before the tournament started. And so, there's always a way and there's a reason. Like, if it was easy, then everyone would be doing it, you know. So, I think, yeah, that's the way. I think the biggest one for me was what motivated me. I could have easily just said, oh man, that's too hard. That's all good. I don't want to do this anymore. But I always knew down the long run it will probably do me good. And now I got 2 kids. And if anything happened to me tomorrow, it's okay. You know, I can get a job tomorrow, you know. So I think that's the biggest one. Every time I go out there and play, I'm not scared if I get injured or nothing, or if I got dropped. I don't care. You know, I can get a job out here up in South Auckland anyway. So I think that was the biggest thing.
Your degree together with the rugby season or off season?
Yeah, so right now I'm not teaching at the moment because with the sevens and we pretty much all year round, 6-8 months. So schools don't really want teachers who kind of come in for 2 days and then leave. So, but once I finish, I'll get into teaching. And even if I didn't get into teaching, it's there. I can go down another way if I wanted to go back to uni and do another degree. But that's there if anything ever happened to me. So. Yeah, I remember when I was at school and my dad used to like, man, you're not training hard enough, and I didn't enjoy it anymore. That was probably the one thing that my parents sort of drove out of me. Like I played rugby for fun and I played with my friends, and then once he started putting pressure on me and you needed to make this team and this and that and give money back, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. So, and then that's when I went down the education side and I was like, oh, I'm going to go down this way. Then I sort of found that passion again, not only to play, and then went back to rugby, and then that's when I started playing better and enjoyed it a lot more, and that's when I started making those teams, and even now my dad's proud of me now, but at the time I was a little bit angry at him, but I think it all worked out. I think that's just the way, you know, he is, so that's all good. Good question.
My name's Kevin Senior. It's always been embarrassing. I don't have any currency anymore in the sense that I'm not like the Sharon Star was, but ultimately the message that Sharon talked about is something that resonates with me. I now work in, for what we call the New Zealand Rugby Players Association, and in a kind of funny wraparound way what Sherwin talked about in terms of his pathway, his development off the field, his education, everything off the field. That's kind of what we look after, and those are the important messages we want to convey, and part of my role with the Players Association to our young men that are in this room. So probably the more important thing for you guys to understand is that the Players Association, we deal with the contractual aspect with our professional rugby players here in New Zealand, and ultimately at this point in time a lot of the young men are actually perhaps in that position or will actually eventually step up into you know, professional status in the next couple of years. So those messages, the story that Sherwin shared about, I'm really encouraged. It's awesome to hear those types of stories, and really important for our young men in this room to understand that there's success in and around performance, but success off the field is just as important as it is on the field. So that's kind of what our role is in terms of our organisation, trying to really supplement what you guys do on the field, and also what you do off the field is really important. So perhaps like what you mentioned, the slogan we kind of say to our young men is developing people, developing players. So I just want to just paint a bit of a picture, which is a little bit of my story. Where is it? So we talk about expectation. Excuse my bad writing. And then pressure. I'll be really quick, I'll just sum this up really quick. And then we talk about ultimately success. So I understand too, and I'm obviously Pacifica, I'm Samoan. I have the expectation from my family to succeed, not just on the field, but off the field. I'm about 1.5 years retired, playing professional rugby over in France. Awesome experience. I played professional rugby here in New Zealand. Great experiences out of school. Had to study as well. Funny enough, I didn't finish my degree till last year. And now I'm back home. And I also have an expectation, not just on the field now, I have an expectation to fulfill for my family married, got 4 kids, a beautiful wife, and the expectation for me is to be a man to lead my family as well. Something that's an honour as well, but then also with that, there's also other pressures. It's not important too much about the detail around that, but the pressures is also for my own family, which is my mum and dad, my extended family. We talk about the Whāsā Mōwai, that's a really awesome thing as well, something I am important to me. And then also success. The difficult thing for our men, our young men today, is these 2 things with our young players is in around those expectations and pressures. So part of my role is that when we talk about the contractual status, we also have those conversations with our parents, or I have a conversation with parents as well. And sometimes it's in around the pressures of trying to get a contract or trying to make this team and trying to do this. And it's always kind of like, what is it and for my boy, or, you know, always my boy, this and that. So what we're trying to do is just try and get that balance. So the message is what Sharon talks about, exactly that. You may not make it, you may make it. And the thing is that with professional rugby, I'm sure there's heaps of people in this room that actually have, or actually a number of people in this room have actually played professional rugby, or have a brother or a cousin or an uncle that have played professional rugby. But the reality is that this is what they face as well. In terms of all performance and around success, that's one aspect. Performance off the field is just as important as well. So like in the likes of Sherwin's case, in my case here, what does that mean to me? And that's what's important for you young men. What does that mean to you guys? What is your success off the field? What does that mean to you and your parents? So the things that what we try and do is we try and like get with the parents, kind of provide a bit of understanding around their expectations for the boys in terms of performance, and that's what you guys would have talked about tonight. But then also off the field, it's really awesome that Shane actually had you know, the budgeting session, or kind of just aspects in around income, because that's another real important issue for our young men. I understand that the expectations and pressures they may have from their families to financially help out, but the important thing for you young men to understand is that that's one thing, but you got to also understand that you got to get educated in around dealing with money as well, and manage your own money. Whether you actually get a professional contract, that just adds more pressure and expectation for you guys as well. But through a program that we have with the Rugby Players Association, we have people in that space that provide education in and around those types of areas, whether it be kind of careers and even finance as well. And that's something really important for you guys to understand, because it can just go like that. Ultimately, it's all about just getting a good understanding of the professional environment and expectations as well. So all the cool things that Sherwin talked about, that's what we want to reinforce as well for our young men. Does anyone know the average lifespan of a professional rugby player? Just have a guess. Check it out there. Numbers. The average lifespan? Yeah, actually it's about 7 years, eh? So the average lifespan of a professional rugby player is 7 years. It's not that long. People think, oh, that's a long time, but Joelle, myself, and Toa here, done, finished. But awesome experience and within that. But what we want to do is we want to encourage our young men, challenge our young men to take advantage of those opportunities as well. There's awesome opportunities within that, meeting really cool people, getting to see the world and all those types of things. The reality is that you're going to come back and you're going to be retired and you're going to have to live the rest of your life supporting your family. However, in those early years, it's really important for our families to understand the expectations and pressures for our young people as well, and vice versa. That's all I wanted to share. So if you guys need any support, I don't have any information. I just come back from Fiji running workshop with the boys over there. We're 0800 player, but we endorse and advocate the awesome support the likes of accredited agents like Shane Singh's doing, and it's a great initiative tonight, and that's just something that we support and also try and supplement as well for the sake of you guys as well in this room.